elated, or Jerry, how are you feeling after that one?
I'm elated. All the emotions of joy, happiness. I've humility as well. I've all the different emotions. Look, I've a wonderful group of 39 Cork women, and we've been working away all since January. And like we had to look at last year, we had to defeat the Galway. We shook hands with Galway and we said we'd prepare again for 2026, and here we are today. A tremendous team performance, some beautiful passages of play, and stuff that we've done on the training ground came to fruition, and the girls were brilliant.
Talk about the first half in particular, because maybe a lot of people might say the game was over by half time, 113 to 3 points. You really came out of the traps firing in that first half.
Yeah, we all year long, if we won the toss, we said we'd play with the wind, and that's what we debated it before the match when we arrived here in Fraherfield. We went with the wind, and I just said to the girls, look, we just got to play with a bit of composure, but play with the pace and try and set the tone of the game, and that's what we did. We used the ball very smart. I thought that in the opening, say 8 or 9 minutes, the game was very close. Kilkenny were keeping it close to us. We were a small bit nervous, I suppose, which was a championship final day sort of an issue. But what I felt is once we loosened up, once we got our legs moving, and we started popping the ball, thank you, once we started popping the ball off each other, we were brilliant, and the girls were clinical, so they were.
Yeah, your inside forward line especially, we're talking Orla Cahalane, McAuliffe, Shepherd, they're absolutely outstanding, unmarkable almost. You must be delighted with their performances. I
am thrilled with them. I suppose, look, we worked in training on possibly a new formation there, like we're playing 3-3-2-3, and then we're playing a straight line up at the full forward line, creating pockets of space on the right and the left. We've two running all the time, so they're always in support of each other, and they're always in support of each other when that ball is there. So if the ball breaks down, we have a support player around them. But then they're very intelligent around the ball when they have possession of the ball, and they're very smart players. So we're really delighted for them.
You talked about it there. How much was it talked about in the lead up to this game, the All-Ireland final last year? You're probably favourites going into it, the under-23s. I know you've only come in yourself this year, completely turned it around. But how much was the hurt of last year talked about going into today's game?
Well, we brought the hurt of last year to Galway at the very first game. So we did the very first round of the championship. We went up to Galway and we got a 1 point or a 2 point win above in Galway. And when we got up, there's umbrellas and everything coming
absolutely. In. Everyone is excited, everyone's happy. Galway was the first game.
Galway was the one where we decided we needed to go up and we needed to atone for last year's All-Ireland final. We had a great battle above there that day, and I knew then that we had a team, and I knew then that we had the cooperation between ourselves and the senior group to use the players. So what we did was we worked strategically all the way along. We brought players in, we brought players out. We got to use the whole of the panel, the whole group in the panel, and we went to Freshford. And it didn't work out for us on the day against Kilkenny, but we had a real good look at them, so we had. And I was happy coming out of that, knowing that we were already in the semi-final. Going into the last game against Tipperary was just a matter of deciding where we were going to end up and who we were going to play against. And, it all has worked out. It has worked out really well for us.
Yeah, because it was at 7 points against Kilkenny in the group stage, but that was completely thrown away today. You must have learned a huge amount, as you said there, and you really exploited that today.
Yeah, that day turned on the last, say, 5 minutes. It was a bit of an injury, and I suppose Kilkenny pulled away then. The game was very nip and tuck in the earlier stages of that game. There were missed chances on our behalf, missed chances on their behalf. But we learnt a hell of a lot, so we did. And the girls have been at every training session with me, and we've been working on our own strategies. We worked the intensities right. The training ground is a happy camp. I have a tremendous group of young women there from Cork, and they're the future for Cork Camogie. We're in transition in Cork at the moment. We've fabulous girls in the senior programme at home coming back from injury. We've girls that are, deciding, whether or not they're going to carry on this year and keep going. But your Manley's doing a great job there with the senior team. And this group here are going to bring the next senior group in, and hopefully by the end of this summer we'll have another O'Duffy Cup coming back to Cork.
Absolutely passionate, Jerry. Thanks very much for talking to us.